And here we are back with the Robyn SB-540D. It is now complete. It's had everything done to it other than putting it back together and the final cleanup on the exterior. But everything on the inside is now done. This is one that's had open heart surgery done on it. Had a new, well not new, but a good main circuit board installed in it, because this one had the crack board, which that wasn't the main problem. The main problem was all the other hokey shit that had been done to it. Just easy, honest to God, just easier to put another damn board in it. So this board was installed. Didn't know if it was any good, you know, if there were any problems with it, but it had basically been untampered with. So you know, it had a little bit of work done to it, maybe just repair work. It did have one problem. Once I got the board installed, hooked up, I had extremely low receive and transmit, and I ended up having a bad transformer. So one of the adjustable transformers was bad. So that's been replaced. It's working fantastic now. Everything's been recapped. The main board, the keypad board. So there's capacitors all over this damn radio. There's capacitors on the other side of the clock board. There's capacitors on the power supply board. There's capacitors down on this board, which is the microphone amplifier board, which are facing straight down. There's more caps down. There's another little circuit board down here. It's got some caps facing down. Yeah, there's caps hidden all over this radio. It's a royal pain in the butt, especially the capacitors on that board and that board down in there. Trying to get to those are a bit of a nightmare. These aren't exactly easy either. Trying to do this board doesn't come out very far. But all that's been done. So it's now hooked up to the communications test set over here. I'm feeding it a 0.05 microvolt signal. And we're going to be taking a synad measurement on the right-hand meter there. So there's the signal. 0.05 microvolts. And then we switch to external speaker. I already had the communications test set plugged into the external speaker jack. So you can see on sideband, and that's as low as my signal generator will go, 0.05 microvolts. We have a approximately, let's say, 16 dB synad measurement, which anything above 12 is good. So I can't even get this signal generator any lower or low enough to where it would become a hard to copy signal. So that's fantastic reception on this. And let me get it set up for AM. So there's AM, same thing, 20.05 microvolt input signal. And it has a 12 point, let's just say 12. It's a little bit above, but so even on AM, it has an acceptable synad above 12 at the lowest level the signal generator can produce, which is 0.05 microvolts. And for those in the decibel minded, that would be minus 133 dBm. So 0.05 microvolts. So fantastic reception on this thing. Really, really good. So there, you can hear it. So there it is. Let me get I'll get it unhooked here real quick, and I can flip it up so you can see the underside of the transplanted circuit board in here. So give me a second. And here we are on the underside. So this has had the fried ceramic bypass cap, if you remember right, that had shorted out against the bottom plate. So it has two new safety rated modern caps installed in there, and the orange tubing, that's actually Teflon. I use that because that's flame proof. You don't have to worry about that. You know, anything would ever happen in here, that stuff's never going to melt. So there's all the caps on the mic amp board there. And like I say, there's another one crammed on this little board. And there's the underside. So this radio is all ready to be put back together and put back into service finally with a nice fresh circuit board. Definitely much better condition than, lean over here and grab it, than what was removed from it. You know, the pieces of it. Yeah, you can see it. Definitely better condition. Yeah, this is the one that had that damn, what I call, octopus relay installed on it. Whoever put that hokey ass goddamn thing on there. And then all this other, just the extremely sloppy circuit board work on this thing. You know, traces are screwed up all over the place. Just, like I say, it's seen better days. And the problem is, it had, like I say, it had so much work done to it. I could end up chasing my tail for days trying to, you know, I could recap it, fix the brake, and then just spend the next couple days trying to track down all this other shit that somebody else has done. You know, what parts have been installed, are they right? Because everything looks like it had been worked on in this. All the ICs have been changed at one point in time. Most of the transistors had been put in. A lot of this stuff's substitutes, so you don't know if it meets proper specifications for the radios. So, yeah. Had a good board, didn't know if it worked, but I could see it was in excellent condition, you know, compared to this one. So yeah, just a lot easier all around, and it's the board's in just better physical condition. It had the one little crack, little breakout right around that screw. A little tiny piece was broken out around that corner. That's been re-epoxied back together. So, you know, we don't have to worry about fixing that nasty crack that ran between these two screws on the original board. You know, this whole corner that had broken off. So that's it. That's the completed Robyn SB-540D. Almost forgot to mention it. So this never happens again. This brake. Remember how I'd said how flexible this damn chassis was? And there's so much shit in here. It'd be a pain in the neck trying to design a damn bracket to support this. So I just did something that a lot of manufacturers have done over the years. That they didn't do on this, and it's a shame they didn't, because that would have prevented this crack most likely, you know, where the board broke in half. And that's to add some foam blocking on the underside. So that's what I did. I have rolls of this foam. You can see how thick it is. You know, it's kind of rigid, but it does have some give to it, foam rubber. So what I do is I cut some pieces about that big, and they're right here underneath this corner, which is right where it broke out. And then I also have some located, they're glued onto the bottom cover, and then they actually come up and contact the circuit board, the underside of the circuit board right here, and they're about that long and about that wide. They're almost square. So right here. So you can see it moves a little bit like it should. You know, it should have a little, you know, be able to move a tiny bit, but much, much, much better than it was. This thing was like a damn springboard before. It was so damn spongy. So I just wanted to mention that if you own one of these radios, I highly suggest you do something to support your chassis, especially if you're ever going to ship it. I mean, if you're going to ship it to somebody, I guess at the bare minimum, take the bottom cover off and fill it full of crumpled up newspaper. It's better than nothing. That way the radio can get to your tech in in good condition without breaking the circuit board. Like I say, I have no doubt that's why that board broke. Somewhere in transit at one point in time, this radio got dropped straight down the box, and just the weight of this transformer buckled this chassis, and that's what cracked the board. And you know, downhill. It was downhill from then, especially with all those other problems that damn board had. So that's been taken care of, and this should never have a problem with the boards breaking again. I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that that's something you should take care of in these radios. They are a little bit spongy from front to back. They just didn't have much support there, so just a little tip for you. Video's just never going to end, is it? I'm back again. Got it turned around, putting the back case screws in it, cleaning up the cover, and one last thing. What the hell? 3 amp? People. So I have to change, if that's what's in here. Let me see here. Yep, sure enough. I don't know if it'll show up in camera or not. Get it flipped around here. See that? AGC3. This radio does not take a 3 amp fuse, goddammit. So whatever jackwagon did all that crap on the inside apparently also wrote 3 amps there for the fuse. This radio takes a 1 amp fuse. Yeah, 3 amps maybe on DC supply. Yes, at 13.8 volts, yeah, 3 amp fuse would be appropriate. 120 volts for the AC portion of the power supply. No, not 3 amps. You'll have smoke coming out of this radio before a 3 amp fuse blows. So yeah, I'll clean that off with some alcohol and put a proper 1 amp fuse in there and actually label it with a real label as 1 amp. And one last thing, getting ready to do the invoice on this. Another one. I don't know what seems to give here recently with me and low serial numbers. Looks like this one's probably, it's not really showing up with a little bit of flash rust there. There we go. It's probably number 54. 260054, and usually the first couple digits aren't really actually part of the serial number, it's the last couple digits. So Christ, here's another ultra low serial number one. Looks like this one's probably number 54. So who knows? And then has dual switches. This is for selecting between AC and DC, and then this is the main power switch that kills the entire radio, clock included. But yep, I wanted to show that. And like I say, mainly another really, really low serial number radio. So this is the end, I promise.